editing the showing just over. Z shell. Everybody's favorite Unix shell these days. It has basically replaced Bash in almost anything I do. Any system I have basically has Z shell as the default shell. And even modern Macs have basically replaced Bash with Z shell. You just can't even use Bash anymore. Well, it will complain if you use Bash. However, in this video, I'm gonna teach you 3 tips, 3 tools, 3 practices I use to be more efficient with my Z shell, to spare on those keyboard inputs thingies and do things just slightly a little faster. Let's start with tip number 1. Typing out incredibly long multi-line commands can be painful. You miss one backslash and you're at the beginning. You ran the command and you didn't want to run it. Going back a whole bunch of words to change something in the middle of the command can be frustrating, especially if you want to build multi-line, multi-parameter commands in a single line. Well, I'm going to show you a way how you can make that work for you. How that can be better. Hello, kitty. How that can be better. How you can go ahead and use something like your built-in editor to actually help you quickly edit those commands. So let me show you how that is done, right? When making any changes like this, we're going to start with our ZSH RC file, which is the configuration file for ZSH. And this thing usually sits inside of your home directory. It's named .zsh, ZSH RC. So let's go ahead and edit this file. And I'm going to show you how you can set this up basically with all the built-in functionality of ZSH. So I'm going to say command editor. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and import can you please, thank you, can you just go here, thank you. I'm trying to teach a function called edit command line, and we're going to make it into a widget, and we're going to bind a key for that thing to open. So let me show you how this is done. So we're going to use the autoload command -u, and we're going to call edit command line. This is a function that exists within ZSH, and it's available for you. You just need to load it inside for it to be available. Now we're going to use something called ZLE-n, basically convert this edit command line into a widget. So this thing can be used as within a keybind. And lastly, we're going to go ahead here and they say bind key -m. We're basically telling it within the VICMD mode, and I'll explain this in a second. When you press the V key, you should run the edit command line function. Now, within my ZSH thing, if I said bind key -v, basically my ZSH keys are going to be bound to Vim keys. So all of the wonderful Vim key bindings, such as escape and back and all those things, are going to be available within the command line itself. So that means when I go ahead and press escape and hit V, the V key, it's going to go open up Vim, well, my editor, to edit my command. So I'm going to show you, I just need to go ahead and export one more thing. Export editor equals Vim. Basically, I'm just setting the environment variable called editor as Vim. So save this. I think it's okay. It's okay. Source ZSH RC. No errors. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my command. Let's say tar exclude and do home darko cache. Now, instead of hitting enter, I'm going to hit escape and hit V. Boom, VI. Isn't this beautiful? Or Vim. So I'm going to paste this thing a bunch of times. Actually, paste it a bunch of times. And let's be super cool. And go ahead and change that and change this to GVFS. Change this into, I don't know, TMP, change this into config, Mozilla, Google Chrome, and I don't know, Mozilla, and so on. So if I go ahead and change this, come back and say CVF, I believe that's my command. Is that my command? CZF, and I'm going to say tmp backup.tar.gz, and do this, and just do home darko. That's it. That's my command. So what do you do now? You escape, you save, and like that, it's on your command line. If I hit enter, and I have made a mistake, CZF? Yes, okay. Back here, escape V, delete. How easy was that? Enter, boom, it works wonderful. So, and you can change this. You can have your editor be Nano for all we want. Do I have Nano installed? I don't have. Yay, Nano. So let me show you the Nano. So for folks out there who want to use something like Nano or even VS Code if you want, you can absolutely use this. So if I go ahead and change my ZSH RC file and change the editor to Nano, save, source the file, open up my command here and hit Escape V, all of a sudden it's opened up to Nano and I can go ahead and edit this thing again. Control X, it's back, it's ready, beautiful. Tip number 2, smart way to search through history of your commands. Right, if I want to go back to a command, I can just go ahead and hit the up arrow a few times, hopefully getting to the thing I actually want to get to. All kinds of stuff happening here. Well, by default, a lot of shells have this functionality with when you do Control R and you can search within your shell. By default, ZSH doesn't have that. As you can see, I do Control R, nothing really happens. However, I'm gonna go ahead and install something called FZF, Fuzzy Finder basically. And Fuzzy Finder is gonna give me this wonderful way to search my previous commands. Fuzzy Finder, FZF, shows up in so many tools, so many open source projects out there. It's just a wonderful thing to have on your system. And it makes perfect sense to be used within ZSH for this purpose. So to do this, I'm gonna go ahead and go open up ZSH and ZSH RC, and I'm gonna say CMD history. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do just source and do FZF-ZSH. That's it. I believe that's it. Is it? Yes, that's it. Okay. So what this thing does, it basically runs the FZF command, which is -- at ZSH, and the output of that command is basically being sourced within this ZSH RC file. Simple as that. So, but I have to go and install FZF because I don't have FZF, right? No FZF. Cool. So, yay, SFZF. In a second, we have FZF. So FZF, it's here. Nice. Okay. So, source ZSH RC. Perfect, no errors. And see this, Control R, wabam. All of a sudden, a wonderful FZF window where I can search all the commands I used to run. So if I type Docker, it's gonna show me my latest Docker command or anything that has Docker in it. Sometimes even a character, it's a fuzzy finder, so it's really, really flexible. If I type yay, Control R, yay, it's gonna show me all the yay commands that I've ran, basically the package manager here, right? So if I do, I don't know, tar, it's gonna show me all the tar commands, or AWS, all the AWS commands I used to run. Wonderful, so much more pleasant than having to go back up an arrow, or even using the vanilla bash type command line search, because that only shows you a single command. This thing you can actually go ahead and search for the one you want to run, and then it loads it up and doesn't really run it until you hit enter, and just beautiful, wonderful. Incredibly useful. You will see FZF show up everywhere, so it's an important thing to have on your system. Tip number 3, navigating directories can be bothersome, right? You know, having to go through multiple different layers of directories can be something that's tedious. So what if I told you that there's a tool that can help you navigate these directories that you constantly go to with a little bit more ease? So I'm gonna go ahead and create a bunch of directories here just so we can have something to browse. So I'm gonna mkdir here and -p and do, like, I don't know, workspace. And within the workspace, I'm gonna create something called, I don't know, repos, projects, TMP. So it's gonna create these 3 directories under workspace. And I'm gonna go ahead and mkdir -p. I'm gonna do workspace, I don't know, projects. I'm gonna do some Rust and assembly, right? There you go. Awesome. So there's a bunch of directories here. If let's say I want to go to the temp directory, I need to go to workspace, TMP, right? Or I have to go to the assembly directory. I have to go cd what is this? Workspace, repos. Actually, not even repos. Projects, ASM, right? So it can be bothersome. You can bounce back to your home directory and then do cd workspace and then repos and whatever. Right? You can do those things. But it gets really old really fast. So I'm going to show you another tool called Zoxide or Zoxide, or whatever. A lot of Z's in all the things we're talking about. Z shells, FZF, Zoxide, all of these things are incredibly important and incredibly useful these days. So I'm gonna go ahead and install Zoxide and show you how Zoxide can help you basically not have to worry about these things a lot. So go ahead, first of all, yay S Zoxide. Zoxide is basically a CD, or change directory replacement. It's a drop-in replacement, but with a lot of great features. So let's go back to our ZSH file, and we're gonna go ahead and just add a couple of lines here. So Zoxide, and I'm gonna, first of all, do something called eval. So eval here is gonna basically run Zoxide, init, and ZSH. It's similar to the source file up above, but it's just kind of executing this thing, and there's slight difference between source and eval. Let's not get into this. This is how it works. Wonderful. And I'm going to go ahead and add two aliases. Alias for CD is going to be Z, and alias for CDI is going to be ZI. I'm going to show this to you what this thing is in a second. For folks out there, aliases are basically just creating new commands that are different commands. So like when I type in CD, ZSH is going to basically translate that into Z. So that's it. Okay, I think this is fine. Source ZSHRC, no errors, perfect. Okay, so CD TMP. Simple as that. That really works. That's not a problem. CD workspace. Let's go back home. CD workspace TMP. Okay, that works as well. CD workspace repos. Okay, cool. CD workspace projects Rust. Check this out. I want to go back to the Rust directory. I can just do CD Rust. It knows how to get there. CD TMP. TMP. It goes to the temp directory. CD repos. It goes there. It knows the directories you're talking about, and it uses, again, fuzzy finding to basically determine that you want to go back to the specific directory. Amazing. So, what about, there's multiple TMPs, right? There's the one TMP in the root directory, and there's this one. So if I go here and type CD TMP, it takes me to this one. But how can I go to the other one? Well, this is where CDI exists. So if I go CDI TMP, it uses FZF of all things again to show me all of the available options that you can use here. So both the workspace TMP and the root TMP directory. Wonderful. Wonderful. Very useful. Again, once you get into like a bunch of directory hopping, this turns out to be such a useful tool, and I don't know how to work without it anymore. So amazing. So that's it. Those were the three tools, three little practices I use inside of my ZSH RC file, inside of my ZSH configuration. I've been using this for a long, long time. I'm going to leave a link in the description to my ZSH RC file, so you can see all of the changes I have. I have a lot more than just this, but you can go and check it out. If this was useful for you, there's a little like button down below if you want to drop this video a like. If you want to see more videos about Linux, vintage technology, cloud, programming, Rust, whatever, hit the subscribe button. I'm happy to have you on this channel. And also, if you want to share your tips on ZSH or other shells, do leave them down in the comments. My name has been Darko. I will see you in the next one.